Almost every clothing store wants to figure out how to get results just like this with their ads. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do in this video. As always in these videos, make sure that you grab something to take notes with and stick around until the end where I'm gonna be revealing the exact strategy we are using to generate results like this for our clients and coaching members. All right, so number 4, niche down and define your audience. When I'm talking to clothing stores, one of the biggest differences between those who have been around a while and those who are just starting out is that the new businesses try to market to literally everyone. I ask them who they're serving and they say both men and women, and that it's followed up with something like, and they like to look cool or they like to look nice. There are a few questions you need to ask yourself to niche down and ultimately generate revenue for your business by standing out, right? If you solve a specific problem for a specific person, you're going to generate more sales and revenue. Now, this is in the beginning stages, right? So let's say you're not at 7 figures. Let's say you're just at, $1 or $2 million a year and below. This is that advice. If you're above that, right, this is probably not the video for you. But if you're at $2 million and below, this is absolutely the advice that I would tell you to follow. So here are some questions to help you figure out your niche and how to make it happen. What do you actually like, right? Who can you resonate with? What audience are you passionate about serving? Most of the time, if you're just starting out, your biggest target market is yourself, right? You know what you like, you also know what problems you have with clothes. Heck, it may be the reason you actually started your business, but no matter what, find a niche and serve them because it does matter to niche down. Everyone wants to go wide, right? You begin to win when you go deep. All right, well, before we cover the exact creative setup that you need, I just wanted to say howdy. My name is Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at Bit Branding, and we are an e-commerce growth agency that specializes in helping clothing stores grow and scale profitably online. Now, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of the latest content strategies that we put out for clothing stores just like you every single week. All right, so number 3 is to diversify your creative. Whether you're running ads or posting organically, what we have seen work the absolute best is hitting your potential customers with a variety of creative. So number 1 is UGC, right? So user-generated content, whether that's unboxing, trying on, reviewing, etc., doesn't matter, but user-generated content from other people, not within your brand. Number 2 is TikTok style content. What I mean by this is like jumping on trends, songs, dances, and making it and blending it into your own industry, right? So within the clothing industry, it's done really well. Still images, right? So single image ads have done really well. It needs to be high contrasting. You should also make sure that the product is very focal in that image. It shouldn't be a shot that's like really far away or that you can't understand like what the person's actually modeling or showing off. So still images work really well. Collection videos. So what we mean by this is, for example, if you had a winter or Christmas or summer collection, there's a collection or group of clothing items. So, right, it could be a dress, could be a streetwear t-shirt, it could be whatever, but you put them into an item and then you showcase those products very quickly with the video, right? Usually you have a logo on there, there's some kind of call to action. Those have done really well to catch attention. And the last one here is a talking head explainer video where you're just literally talking face to camera, right, and explaining the clothes that you're wearing. This works in a variety of different ways, but not necessarily in an ad, or they're the least effective that we have seen. We have also seen the personal side of posting work really well, i.e. your family photo from Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, right? A day in the life, behind the scenes. These types of photos show that you are human and actually have done really well. Side note, almost all of the brands I talk to act bigger than they are, but don't realize that the fact that they are smaller is what gives them the advantage. So what I mean by this is when you try to act like a big brand, but you can't, right? It actually looks worse. Compete on a level where you can actually beat the big guys. Because if you can't compete with them on budget, but you try to and then fall short, right? Then the two measuring sticks do not work. So compete on a level that you can actually beat them at. All right, so number 2 here is brand building. This is the part where most people fall off because they think that a brand is their logo or some video that they've created and they say, that's our brand. But a brand is, right, it's so much more than that, right? A brand is the feeling that someone gets when they hear or see your brand name. Think of these types of brands, and I'm just curious, right? So if you pause the video or if you stopped right now, or just your initial reactions, right? When you hear these brand names, what are the kind of the feelings or emotions that you get? That's how you know that, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but it's, I think, a good point to start with. So number 1, Nike, right? So what's your first opinion of Nike? You can think about it in your head. Obviously, you can't respond to this video. Actually, you can leave a comment. What's your thoughts? Next up, Lululemon. I actually just dropped a video on Lululemon, right? So there's a lot of thoughts here, and we actually got real people's responses to Lululemon. And the last one here, Gucci, right? All three of these have a different type of emotion that people have or perception that they have of the brand. So focus on these things to help your brand stand out. Remember that it is the boring, non-sexy work that will allow you to beat your competition, right? And I'll explain that here in a second. So staying consistent with your messaging, your posting online, your customer service, your advertising. When in doubt, consistency will always win. And consistency builds trust, and brands are built on trust. I'll share more later when we get into the ads what I mean by this, right? But that's a big part of building your actual brand, is the consistency with all of those other areas. Another big piece here is to do the unscalable in the beginning. Send out that handwritten note, right? We've talked about that. Every time, first-time purchasers, right, they should get a handwritten note. That just goes without saying. Do the unscalable. Send out that special gift with every second-time purchase, right? Those people who purchase the second time, they're saying something. They should get something as well, right? Offer free returns for 14 days. This is another thing that's like the unscalable. Can you do this at scale? Probably not, but offer the free returns for 14 days, no questions asked. We've seen this with Zappos, right? That's what they became famous for, is like great customer service. There's no hassle for anything. You just bought your shoes there because it was so much easier to just go there because you knew they were gonna take care of you. Tell your story and make it known with clear messaging. My guess, right, this is my guess, I don't know this to be true, right, but my guess is you remember a few stories like Tom's, right, Tom's shoes, or Bombas, right? Bombas kind of, I guess at this point, blew up because of Shark Tank and things like that, but Bombas, right, their story is every single sock or every pair of socks or a clothing item rather, I guess at this point, is now donated, right? So it's a one-for-one thing. Tom's, same thing, right? They donated shoes. The reason you probably do know their story is because they did a good job of building their brand around their story. The last part and most important thing that most people don't mention about brands is that they must stick around long enough for people to talk about them. If you're only around for 2 to 3 years, it's going to be really hard to, get your name out there, right? It's one of those things where it's like, you have to play the test of time. All these brands that I mentioned earlier have been around for years, decades even, right? It doesn't have to take you decades, but you should be thinking in terms of years, not in weeks or months when you're trying to build your actual brand. All right, before I show you how to use Facebook ads to your advantage and to stop making the big mistakes and actually start getting results from your advertising and connect all of these pieces, I wanted to tell you about our free masterclass training for clothing stores that will walk you through the 5 pillars that must be in place for your online store to scale consistently and profitably, no matter what is going on in the world. If you want free access to this training, make sure you check out the link in the description down below. All right, so number 1 is to run Facebook ads. I probably don't have to tell you that more people you can get to your website, right? The more people who land on your site, the better the chances are of generating more revenue and sales for your clothing store. It really is just a numbers game. More people to the site, more revenue. I'm about to walk through and screen share with you some of the top performing ads that we have running right now and really just break down what is making them successful so that you can copy them for your clothing store, implement them to generate sales and grow your business. But before we get into these ads, please note that every single area I mentioned is crucial to marketing your clothing store. Facebook ads will only magnify what works, right? So if you skipped over everything to that part or got to this part and you're like, oh, let me just jump into the ads part, promise it's going to be very difficult for you to have success because you're missing out on a lot of the key elements, right? So all right, so let's go ahead and get into Ads Manager and break these winning ads for clothing stores down. All right, so we are inside of Ads Manager. We have several campaigns set up. Let me talk to you about the way that these are set up and what's actually running. So right now we have this BAT test, which is our brand awareness testing. This is for our program members and the way that we launch ads. We will not jump into this just yet, but to give you an idea, what we do is we test a lot of different pieces of creative. We find that winning creative and then we jump them into our conversions DCT prospecting campaigns. We also have a app download campaign. So this app download campaign has, it's only running at $30 a day. The reason we have it is because this particular client also has a web store on a platform called CommentSold. It's for live selling, and so we're trying to generate app downloads for it. It's honestly effective, but not really something we're spending a ton of time on and effort on because there's other areas to generate sales to the store without having to get app downloads. So there is that campaign, spending $30 a day, as you can see. Live selling conversions. This is a retargeting campaign for everybody who has been engaged with this client's audience who wants to see the live videos, right? So they're part of the ecosystem, and then when they go live, They likely don't see the videos or get the notifications. All of us get a lot of notifications. So what we're doing is we're running an ad to them to get back in front of them and say, hey, are you interested in this purchase? Well, this is the one we have currently running right now. Has 191 purchases for $4, right? It's a warm audience. You consider this our only retargeting ad. And the only reason we have it is because it's going after the people who would like to see their live sales, and that generates the revenue through the live selling side of things. Okay, so then the most important campaign here, the one where we're spending the most amount of money, right? It's $170 a day. Some people may be thinking that's a lot of money. Some people may be thinking this is super low. For this particular client, I will tell you, it should be 10x this, right? It should be a lot more than this. But this is the budget that we have currently per day for them. All right, so we have a lot of different campaigns going, right? So we have, on average, we will only put in 3 ad sets within a campaign. 4 becomes a little overcrowded. However, we just finished up for Black Friday. Cyber Monday is going on, and literally as we speak. And so a lot of these things have a little bit of outliers. But in most of the time, right, this Cyber Monday is going to go away. These fall, Baby It's Cold Outside, and Holiday right here, these 3 will be the only 3 that are running. This test campaign, let me delete this. This is one I did and I built within here to do as an example for an ad. So we have 4 running. That's it is the max we would ever put inside of one campaign. Really, it's just 3. We just happen to have a Cyber Monday one here because we wanted to get some sales generated. All right, another thing you'll notice is that almost all of them have 1-day click, because we are looking at 1-day click review. It's not only the attribution of when that sale happens, but it is also the optimization window, which means that we're optimizing for people to make a purchase within 1 day. Now let's look here at this one that's been going for a while. This is broad, right here, okay. So probably wondering, okay, what's actually in this campaign? It's easy setup here. Right, so we're going for website purchases, dynamic creative is turned on, purchases here. I will say that something I've been playing around with and have not tested, but we'll probably do a video on, is a custom event for purchases. So you can actually specifically target parameters of a purchase versus just purchases in general. So something we're thinking about here. If you've already been doing that, maybe a smart move. Other thing here is, right, so 1 day after clicking, we just talked about that. Start date, this started in October. We've been running the same campaign for a very long time. We do typically run campaigns for a long period of time. 21 to 55, that is her target market. Women. We usually do manual placements. This happens to be only on the feed. However, you can do it on other ones if the content makes sense, or if you know that if you're working with a client or for your own brand, right, some things may look different. So you can go and like manually view, like, what does it look like on the Instagram Explorer, Instagram Shop, and if it doesn't cut off, then go ahead and click it. The only one we don't really like too much is the apps and sites, so audience network, where you get a lot of clicks and things that people don't actually take action on. All right, and then down here, all devices, all these other things, not necessarily putting anything to do with those. There's brand safety if you had anything to do with them. So let's go look at the ads here. What do we have going on? I'm pretty sure this is, okay, so we have 1 graphic and then 3 single images. And as you heard me earlier in this video, right, we would love to put a collection video in here. We would love to put a TikTok video in here. We would love to put other pieces of content, user-generated content on. This particular client is not getting that content for us as consistently as we'd like, so the content runs out on that we do get of that, and so the products sell out. However, right, the one thing I can tell you is that is just the best of the best, meaning that if you have a graphic or have single images, they will still work. You don't have to have a TikTok video. You don't have to have user-generated content. You do have better results with them, but this client right now is getting really good results with just single images and a graphic. What we suggest here is for primary text, probably 2, 3 max, 2 headlines max, going to 1 collection page. This is crucial here. The page should go to, or the ad should go to 1 page with all of the items. All right, make sure everything's checked here, and then we have triple weld installed, so this is UTM parameters. Basically, it's just saying like I'll show you what I mean a little bit after this. We'll show you, screen share a little bit of what actual triple weld does. But so right here, 94 purchases, $24 per purchase. What is the actual return here? Let's see here. All right, so total return here is about a 3. Like I said, it's good enough. If they had a TikTok or UGC style content, they probably have a much higher return here than what they actually do. So pretty good, spending $100 and some odd per day. And honestly, like the biggest thing that I would suggest is that they spend more money and we create user-generated content for these ads, and we'd probably be doing a lot better return. One other thing I wanted to show you though is that we have a lookalike that we have not touched, right? We don't really suggest lookalikes. We created this, let's look at this, June 18th, 2021. So it's been running for a long period of time. And it's just a lookalike of people who engage to them on social. All we're looking to do for this though is just literally get her story out to more people. We created an about video. So who is this brand that's been running? I believe, let's see here. So this is the one that actually got it. No actual return here. So how much have we spent total? But it actually has made 2.5 times its money. So it's paid for itself. We're only spending $5 a day. All right, so at this point we spent $5 a day for about a year. We've made 2 times our money. The goal isn't necessarily to make money off of it, but it's cool that it's paying for itself. It shares the message that they are trying to get out, sends people to the new arrivals, and generates sales outside of just this video, just getting the brand out there. And our goal, page post engagement, which is honestly just set up in what it's gonna do most of the time is just get video views. So we just got tons of video views. I think that at this point, let's look at it, I'm just curious. Video engagement, total video views, yeah, almost 500,000 video views, which is pretty cool. Reached almost 1 million people. We spent $2,600 and we've made, you know, at this point, a little over $5,000. So those are the only campaigns that are set up for this ad. But what I will tell you is that most of the time you can get by with this one campaign inside of here. You can run it as your dynamic creative ads, which we've talked about earlier, and how it's set up through broad targeting, focus on purchase, dynamic creative, the different types of creative that work well, and that's it. Spend your money behind it. And then one thing that I think is, I have not ever touched on previously in videos, is that we let it run for a long period of time. Meaning that we're not turning off and on ads. Is a big mistake that I see people make, is that they run ads for like 3 to 5 days. They don't have results, so then they shut it off and then try to do it again and start over. Do not do that. Let it run for a long period of time, continue to update creative, get rid of the things that are bad, add in new things, right? Learn from the data that you have currently and just run it for a long period of time. Now, the only piece you're missing here to grow effectively is the data, right? And I mentioned that when we were talking about the screen sharing here with Triple Whale and what we do for the UTM or unique tracking inside of the ads manager, right? You need the ability to see your blind spots and opportunities as you grow, right? I can't take Facebook at face value. Hopefully you guys understand that about 60-70% of this is accurate. We actually have a few more purchases than this, but only 60-70% of it is actually accurate, right? So we found software called Triple Whale, and it helps us make better decisions with our ads. Instead of hoping and guessing that these numbers inside of Ads Manager are correct, like I just mentioned, right? We can be confident in the data in Triple Whale. It's 99+%, right? I think it's like 99.7% of the time it is accurate inside of Triple Whale, so we can make better decisions with our ads based off of that. If you want 15% off Triple Whale, just check out the link in the description down below. Use the code BETBRANDING and they'll give you 15% off. All right, so ready to take your brand to 7 figures and beyond, right? So at the beginning of this video, I said if you're under 2 million, right, and below, then you should definitely be watching this video. If you're ready to take your brand from the 6 figures to 7 figures or really want to see the inside look of a 7-figure clothing store, then make sure you go watch this video right here next. P.S. Don't forget to hit subscribe. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.